Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to set up Instant Replay. Instant Replay is a feature in AMD Adrenalin, which allows you to save, for example, the last 60 seconds of your gameplay, or whatever you were doing on your desktop. So I'm going to show you how to set it up today, and also I'm going to be telling you some of the best settings to use. Let's get into it. First of all, you want to open, of course, AMD Adrenalin. When you first open AMD Adrenalin, you will be on this homepage here. So you want to go to record and stream, go to your settings tab, scroll down a bit to the media section here. So I'm going to explain to you these settings. So the media save location, obviously, you know, where your clips will be saved. So you can set it up, or you can just leave it at the default, which will save your clips to the videos folder on your computer. This folder right here in Windows Explorer. Or you can set up a custom location, of course, which I have. I personally have it set so it saves the clips to my hard drive, to the clips folder. Alright, so now once you have set that up, let's go to the feature itself. So Instant Replay, just enable it, just tick the box. Just tick it to enable, and now the Instant Replay duration, just set it up to your preferences. I personally have it set to 45 seconds, which will take up, as you can see, it also gives you an estimate of how much storage it will use. So 168 megabytes. Now the Instant Replay buffer. So this is actually constantly recording in the background, which means, you know, it needs to, because if it doesn't constantly record in the background, where is it going to get the recording data from, you know, to get your last, let's say, you know, 45 seconds of gameplay. So either it saves it, so either you have two options here. Either it temporarily, this is the default option, either saves it to your SSD hard drive, whatever storage device you use, and then you know, once it doesn't need the recording data anymore, it will clear it. It will clear it is called the cache. It will clear the cache. Which the disk storage I don't like personally, because it is constantly writing to your disk, meaning it will wear them out faster. So especially if you have a hard disk, you don't want. I don't personally like having my hard disk be constantly written to when it's basically not supposed to be doing anything if I'm not using it for anything. So personally, I will set this to system memory, and only set this to system memory if you have a decent amount of RAM. So 16 or 42 gigabytes. If you have only, like, let's say 8 or 4 gigabytes, just leave it on disk storage like that. But if you have 16 or 32 or even higher, set it to system storage, it will be way better. And, you know, your disk will not be, you know, constantly written to. So system memory is faster. Just use system memory if you have 16 or 32 gigabytes RAM. If you don't have a 16 gigabytes of RAM, you have 8 or 4, don't use this. All right, moving on. In-game replay. This is, you can just read this. Instant GIFs. This saves your last game moment as a GIF. And instant game replay, it replays back your last game moment as soon as you press the hotkey, which I'll show you how to set up. You know, yeah, as soon as you press your clip hotkey, it'll, you know, play it back to you. All right, and record microphone here. I will enable this personally. I already have this enabled since I want my microphone to be recorded. Also, make sure you select your audio capture device here. This is my microphone here, HyperX Quadcast. Sometimes, you know, because when it's set to default, it will sometimes actually just pick the wrong microphone. You know, maybe a microphone you're not using, or maybe your old microphone. So I would recommend just picking this manually. Your video capture device is if you have like a webcam, which I personally don't have, so I'm not going to be using this. So I personally don't. I mean, webcam here, that's basically just an app, so you can use your phone as a webcam, which is currently not open right now, so there's not going to be a webcam in my clips. All right. So now over here, the recording profile, I would personally just set this to high. So in-game, set your recording resolution. Either you can set this manually, or personally, I would just leave it set to in-game. And now the recording FPS, I would personally set this to 30 or 60 as 90 FPS. And so 90 FPS and 120 and higher. This is completely unnecessary, as for example, if you're uploading your clips or showing them to your friends, let's say through this on you know, on Discord and stuff, it won't go past 60 FPS anyway. If you're uploading to YouTube, if you're uploading to your clips to YouTube, can at max only do 60 FPS. So just leave this at 60 FPS. 90 FPS, 120 FPS, completely unnecessary. The video bitrate, just leave this at default. If you set it, yeah, as I said, just leave your recording profile on high, and just leave the video bitrate at default. Audio bitrate, just leave it at 192, just leave it at default. Video encoding type, personally, I would use AVC or AV1. Personally, AVC works the best for me, but you can of course experiment which one works the best for you. Enhanced filtering, improves encoding compression, resulting in image filtering. Yeah, you can enable. I personally don't care about this option. I'm personally not going to enable this, but if you want to, you can also enable this. So audio channels, just leave this as automatic. Separate on microphone track. So, for example, if you're editing your clips in a video editing software, your microphone will have a separate audio track. I personally have this disabled, but you can enable this if you want. So recording also, we scroll a bit up here. You have recording. So record desktop, I personally enable this, and borderless region capture, I also enable this. Personally, I would enable both of these two, but again, according to preference, if you don't, personally, I like to also, sometimes, something funny happens on Discord, and Discord is obviously not a game. So, as I said, according to preferences, set this up how you want. Personally, I have record desktop and borderless region capture enabled. All right, and now we're done with the recording settings here. And now we can move on to the settings and set up the recording hotkey. So just go to the settings. So just go to the little cog wheel here, and go to hotkeys here, and scroll down a bit, and you will get media hotkeys. And just you can set up your instant replay hotkey here. So personally, I think at default, if I set this to default, yeah, it's by default on Control-Shift-S, which might be fine for most people, but I have some, I have a bunch of other applications that might use this combination. Control-Shift-S does a bunch of other things for me in Windows. So I'm just gonna personally change this to Control-Shift-H. Again, you can save this, you can set up to how you want. All right. Also, from what I've heard, I'm pretty sure you can set this, you can set the hotkey to a function key. So like, let's say F8, invalid, yeah, it's invalid. So you got to do some combination of Control Shift or Control Alt, whatever. All right, and that's it for today's tutorial. I've pretty much set everything up. Just to show you that it works, I'm just gonna press the hotkey here, because it's gonna give you a notification, instant replay saved, and the location where it's saved. It's gonna appear in the top right. Okay, it doesn't show up in the recording software, but I'll just show you. So if I go to my clips folder, and unknown, because I'm obviously not playing a game, so I'm just recording my desktop. Default on Control-Shift-S, which might be as you can see, the clip is right here. All right, and also what's also very neat about this, what I also like about this clip, about this clipping feature in AMD Adrenaline, is also if it recognizes the game you're playing, it will just save it into separate folders, so you don't have to manually organize it yourself, which is really nice. All right, that's gonna be it for today's tutorial. Hope you found this helpful. Bye.